Welcome to Estoril, the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's lights out and away they go, and the pole sitter Logan Sargent gets a good start. He's going to immediately block over Nick De Vries, just like he did with Albon from pole in yesterday's sprint race. And Nick De Vries is going to be in turn P2, Sainz rounding outside of Bottas for P3. That's a good move from the Alfa Romeo. And then behind them, they fan out. Logan Sargent's able to keep the lead this time. Is there Sainz trying to get past Nick De Vries? Is it? Yes, it is. That's a good start from him in the Ferrari. Of course, qualifying yesterday was pretty poor, just like the sprint shootout. No one actually, oh, it's actually Friday qualifying, if you know what I mean. No one really got a lap in. George Russell down to P18. Yeah, he started P19 actually. Get confused with sprint shootout results as well. There looks like some battles going on behind, which is not happening here. Yeah, here we go, right at the back of the field is Perez versus George Russell for P17. Not often you'd hear that. I think both Aston Martins are back there as well. Yeah, they are. 1920 is Stroll and Alonso both rumoured to be leaving Aston Martin after this race. So one being dropped and one retiring and moving to IndyCar and McLaren for the rest of the season. Anyway, George Russell up to 16th. Now he's got past one of the Alpines. Not sure which Alpine it is. Anyways, the end lap one is going to be Logan Sargent who leads the way from Nick De Vries. Which Alpine is it? It's Ocon in the Alpine. He was doing pretty well in the sprint race. Of course, the sprint race yesterday was one of the weirdest races I've ever seen, to be honest. If you didn't watch it, the entire field had some sort of engine failure, bar Logan Sargent who crashed the lap before, or a few laps before, at Tanker Corner. Yeah, a bit of a weird race. That basically the red flag came out and they called the race after they set the race 2 laps before everyone retired. So the results were basically before everyone retired. And Nico Hulkenberg ended up winning. So yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, Logan Sargent goes through the Parabolica. He's got a decent lead on Nick De Vries. The only two were actually able to set a lap in Friday's qualifying, because the heat yesterday and Friday were just unbearable. It's a lot cooler today, so I highly doubt there'll be as many engine failures, if any. Hopefully not many this race. Anyway, any battles going on further back, not many up front, so let's watch mainly for the lower point playing positions. Well, I say that's P12 though, no one watching Nico Hulkenberg, who won the sprint race yesterday. Of course, new rules this season, it meant that we've got a sprint shootout instead of FP2 so on Saturday morning. So yeah, Hulkenberg not going to be starting from pole, unfortunately for him. Anyway, he's got Joe Guan Yu pressuring him. Is Joe going to get round the outside to the turn 1? Yes, he is. And Nico Hulkenberg is going to be down to P13. Or can Hulkenberg stick the foot in? Or stick a wheel in, I mean. Yes, he can. Oh, no, he can't. Oh, down inside into turn 3. No, Joe's got the move, and that could let the Ferrari have a move, and Hulkenberg is well. Sorry about that. Is that one of the McLarens of Lando Norris? I think it is Lando. It could be Piastri. Don't count me on that. Yeah, it is Piastri. And then Verstappen there as well. Charles Leclerc and the Ferrari, a lot of very mixed up qualifying. Of course, no one actually set a lap bar, De Vries and Sargent. So, not as good racing, I'd say, unfortunately, as the sprint race before everyone had the incidents or had the engine failures. To be fair, I've got to admit, the racing went from like P1 to P15 yesterday, and it would have been even more if there wasn't some cars who had unfortunately had some accidents. As we go through the Tanker Corner for the 3rd time this race, 75 laps here in Estoril. A very long race to use. The two Aston Martins still fighting at the back. Ooh, I thought we had a crash there. Unfortunately, I've got to say, it has already been a bit more boring than yesterday's race. But yeah, the Aston Martins are both at the back, fighting each other. Stroll and Alonso both could be their last races for Aston Martin. As I've already said, Stroll could be dropped. And there's Sargent off the track almost. That could invite Nick De Vries into the lead. Yes, it is. De Vries goes down the inside. And Sargent, he was leading, and now he's down in P2. Is almost off the track there as well, but Logan Sargent with a mistake. And that's going to invite him down inside though. Full Parabolica. He's going to dummy De Vries. He dives down inside through Parabolica. And Logan Sargent can't get ahead of De Vries, unfortunately. Sainz in P3, and Bottas is in P4. 5th is Alexander Albon in the other Williams. He's had 2 brilliant races so far. As they go through the tanker corner, this is where the Sergeant crashed out yesterday. Of course, he was near the back, so he crashed out. I say he crashed twice in 2 laps. And lost his rear wing in both accidents into pit and basically lap down. His race was over anyway, but he brought lead for the pole sitter yesterday and pole again, but now down to P2 as Sainz moves to the right hand side to try and make a move on Logan Sargent. Is he going to make it? No, he's going to pull back into single file, but down the inside on Bottas goes Alexander Albon, and then he goes past Sainz as well. And is that someone's front wing? De Vries has not got front wing. What's happened there? I don't know what's happened to Nick De Vries, but he's not really got a front wing anymore. And Logan Sargent now leads the race, and there's someone without a front wing now as well. It's Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari. And Albon's lost his front wing as well. Carnage in Estoril on lap 5 of this race. They're all bunching up now. The Sargent leads. I want to see what happened once. I'm going to go to the end of this lap because I want to see what's actually happening. Snowden's up into 3rd. Where's he come from? And Max Verstappen and Nick. No, he was already there, wasn't he? But Snowden and Verstappen have come out of nowhere really in this battle for the lead. So very strange. Yeah, I've got to assume that Sargent went into the back of De Vries at turn 1. That's the only possible outcome, I reckon. Can't really think of anything else that might have happened. Tsunoda now trying to get past Logan Sargent for P1. Tsunoda won in Spain. He's only won 1 race in his career. That was at Aragon. Both AlphaTauris have won this season. Tsunoda in Spain and De Vries at Alton Park. As they go to, there's people pitting at the back. De Vries, Leclerc and Albon. They go into turn 1 and Tsunoda. As De Vries has gone deep, Sargent has gone deep, and so Sargent takes the lead and Sargent spun round. Logan Sargent's round, and Tsunoda's now got a massive lead. He's down to P4 as Sargent eyes on the wall. Logan Sargent's in the wall. As he tries to get back on track, Logan Sargent's off eye, spun again. Logan Sargent's gone from 1st to 17th as he tries to get it back on track. Such a shame for the American. He was doing so well. His safety car's out, I think. Yeah, safety car's out because of Sargent's spin. I think it's got to be something else as well. Anyway, Sargent's off again. Let's see what happened to Nick De Vries. Sargent went deep into 1. Let's see what happened to turn 1. We're going too far actually. We're going way too far. Wait, so where's he off then? Yeah, I've been this lap. So, let's see, into turn 1. Did he go deep again? Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, he can't slow the car down and goes right into De Vries. That's such a shame for the Dutch driver in the AlphaTauri. Such a shame. I just get back to low coverage now. We're about 2 minutes behind. And there's the Sargent spin. There's got to be someone else who called to the safety car. Someone else must have gone off. I'm not sure, unfortunately. About a minute behind now, so this is while they catch up to the safety car. Oh, Sargent goes deep again. That's 3 laps in a row. Sargent's gone deep into turn 1 as he tries to catch up to the safety car. We go back to live coverage now. Who's left? Albon at the back, and Albon's out. Albon's out of the race. That is such a shame. Let's see what happened to Albon. Well, he's lost his rear wing somewhere. We know he lost his front wing after contact with oh, there's been a big off in the front straight. So Albon tries to pit. Norris doesn't want to pit. And, oh, that's a shame. Now Albon's trying to turn the pit to the air. Weirdness game. Oh, he's been massively hit by a Haas. And an Alpine, a Howard Mercedes. Oh, goodness me. That's a scary moment there. I'm not sure which Haas it was. It would have been Magnussen. Yeah, it was Magnussen who went very fast into the Prix. Let's go back to live coverage now. Magnussen down in 18th, just behind Sargent. Prix now almost caught up to the back of the pack. Don't know when the safety car will be in. Snowder lead at the moment, of course. It must have been actually the safety car for that off with Magnussen and that lot, actually. But they wouldn't be on the safety car then, because that would have been the lap where Sargent went deep at turn 1 again, and that allowed Snowder to lead. But I'm going to go to an ad break now. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the coverage, but if you're watching on anything else, then it'll be ads, unfortunately. So, it's how we get our revenue, of course. So, yeah. We'll see you once safety car comes in. Safety car comes into the pits. It'll be Yuki Tsunoda leading Valtteri Bottas away. And when's he going to go? He's gone. Verstappen's in P3. Norris in P4. That's your top 4 at the moment. Straight away, Bottas trying to get around the outside on Yuki Tsunoda. There's Joe trying to get past Verstappen. Lando Norris up into P3. Bottas takes the lead off of Yuki Tsunoda. He's already won once this season, but Tsunoda's dived down the inside. He's trying to keep this battle going. Tsunoda stays in the lead. But turn 4, it's going to be Bottas goes around the outside. Verstappen's almost off the track, trying to get past Lando Norris. There's a Mercedes in there of Lewis Hamilton. No, it's George Russell, sorry, Hamilton's just behind him. Joe Garneau as well, trying to get past him on the Mercedes. They're too wide, almost all the way through the whole field. They're like a NASCAR restart here in Estoril. But it's Bottas who leads from Norris, and now Tsunoda's almost going down to P4. Yes, he is. He's not even on the podium anymore because the championship leader, George Russell, gets past him. Any more cars overtaking each other? I'm guessing there are, but just not watching them. They go down the inside, on around the outside, sorry, goes, Tsunoda's still in P3, by the way. Russell couldn't get past him, but they go through Tanker now. I've got a bit of a cough, but, yeah, there's round final corner the move, looks like. I need all the water I can get. Sorry if you can keep it slurping, but yeah, here's a Haas. It's Hulkenberg, Vivas de Perez, and Ocon's in that as well. Or it's one of the Alpines, I think it's Ocon. 4 wide almost into turn 1. Hamilton's getting involved as well. Perez involved. Hulkenberg, Gasly. That's the Alpine, sorry, not Ocon. It's going to be Gasly down the inside. Good dive that on Hulkenberg, and now Perez on Hulkenberg. Perez on Gasly. Perez up into P7. Brilliant move that from the Red Bull. He's rumoured to be dropped for Nick de Vries after this race. Of course, Nick de Vries currently 19th, but it should be fair to him as de Vries back in the pits. So de Vries with another issue. He just had to pit with a front rear, change his rear wing after being hit by what's his name in the he was hit by a sergeant at Williams. That's it. The top 3 now is Bottas back in front of Lando Norris. I think he was already leading, to be fair. But anyway, yeah. Norris is in P2. We've got Snowden in P3. That's your top 3 at the moment, but I think the battles are more further on near the back. Yeah, they are. And Perez ahead of Gasly. He's ahead of Hulkenberg, ahead of Ocon. He rounds off the point positions currently. Calming down a bit, or are we? Because Gasly looks like he's going to make a move down the inside. No, he's not. He's going to dummy him. He's like around the outside, and in the end does nothing at all and stays behind the Red Bull driver. Since the safety car restart, honestly, before the safety car, I'd think the racing was pretty dry, but now we've got some brilliant action here. Perez tries to keep Gasly behind him. Is Gasly going to make a move down inside of the Parabolica? No, he's not. But is he going to go around the outside in the Parabolica? What a move from Gasly, who's on the soft tyres, I think. Yeah, that is a good move from Gasly. It's called the Parabolica, right? Parabolica interior, yeah. The final corner to the Parabolica Ayrton Senna. Perez into P8 now. Did Gasly get past him? Yes, Gasly has got past him. That's annoying. The second I looked to actually see what the corner names are, the actual overtake happens. As Norris has passed Bottas and Snowden to lead the race. We've got a battle on our hands here. Yes, we have. Everyone's starting to catch up now, and this is what we're used to here in F1. These multiple car battles for the lead. As they go through curve of VIP and through turn 5. Wait, no, that's turn 6, sorry. The app I'm using has got the old layout, but it's basically the same, it's just a few actual corners. Yeah, but now Bottas down to P3 from P1, and it's Tsunoda, the winner of the Spanish Grand Prix, in P1. Lando Norris is in P2. He still doesn't want to race this season, or in F1 in general, to be fair. Neither McLaren's have won since the 2021 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. We're going to go to Monza this year for the Italian Grand Prix as well. Of course, it's on the 10km 1966 layout with the banking as well, and that'll be a good race. Turn 1 flat out, Curva Grande, and the first braking point is until the first Lesmo. And there's one of the Red Bulls, I'm guessing that's Perez trying to make a move on someone. As Norris tries to go for the lead of the race, I can't actually quite see entirely, but yeah, Norris leads. Russell tries to get past Bottas. And down inside, Bottas goes on Tsunoda. Tsunoda's gone from P1 to P3. Now Russell's trying to get past Tsunoda, and he does, or does he? If we go through the third corner, and now Tsunoda can go from P1 all the way down to P5 possibly. There's one of the Alpines, it looks like Pierre Gasly, who tries to get past Tsunoda. And they go down inside through turn 6, sorry. Yeah, Pierre Gasly unable to get past Tsunoda, and now Verstappen's going to get past Gasly through Parabolica. Parabolica interior, sorry. And there's Joe Guanyu and Perez trying to get involved now. Perez round the outside through Orella. And they go through the tanker corner now. And through the S's. before the parabolic at Ayrton Senna. And Verstappen in P6. Yet to win a race this season. Neither of his team and Perez, neither Red Bulls have won a race this season, which if you saw last season where Red Bull won almost every single race, a massive surprise. They haven't won since Abu Dhabi in 2022. And even the sister team AlphaTauri have had more wins than them. I think they've even had them in the Constructors. Albeit that, I don't think any championships are actually updated since Austria, so I need to do that after this race. Update the spreadsheet a little bit. Well, I've been a bit busy, to be fair. How's Nick De Vries doing? Sargent's down to 18th. How De Vries is out, so we'll see what happened to him. He's been out for quite a while, it looks like. Oh, he actually got to the restart. There's Sargent and Hulkenberg of that. It's one of the Hasses. Let's see what happened to De Vries. Did he go through turn 4, 5? Let's fast forward a little bit to see what happened. He tries a lunge, and does that lose the front wing? Yes, he does. He goes into the back of Piastri in the McLaren. It's such a shame for De Vries. The race went from bad to worse. He's now out of the race, of course. As he goes through the final corner, he tries to come into the pits. Oh, I think it'll be the same thing. Yeah, he's unable to actually come into the pits. So now it's the Ferrari's almost hit by Sargent now. It's Sainz who hits him. Well, he hits, to be fair. And he resets to the pit lane, and that is him out of the race, unfortunately. So we did see him in the pits, and that was because his race was over. Just confirm this is why he's out? Yeah, it is. Okay. Actually, a few minutes behind. Just real quick, get back to live coverage. While that, you can watch the sped up version of the front row battling. Bottas leads from George Russell at the moment. 20 minutes into this race, 16 laps. It was around this time yesterday where we had all these engine issues, so hopefully, I know that temperatures cooled down drastically since yesterday. It was very hot, of course, on Friday and Saturday, which probably caused the issues in qualifying and the sprint shootout and the sprint. But thankfully, it's looking like everyone's able to continue and not have engine failures. It was actually this lap, to be fair, that all the engine issues happening on lap 17, so as Bottas tries a move on George Russell, he tries to go down inside into turn 3, sorry. Why do I keep getting these things wrong? It's weird, to be fair. Oh, actually, that turn 2 is not actually counted as a corner. Oh well. Yeah, that's my mistake. I've actually getting the corners right this whole time. Anyway, George Russell leads. They go through the parabolica interior. Bottas in second. Lando Norris is in third. And that's Tsunoda in fourth, who was leading for quite a while. And it's one of the Red Bulls in fifth. Can't quite tell just yet who it is. We watch George Russell lead the race. And they go through the S's and the parabolic Ayrton Senna. And they've actually survived this lap, this is a lap where everyone DNF'd yesterday. So thankfully, it looks like we've got a race in our hands and not a 24-minute sprint that we had yesterday. We've got a good chunk of racing left. It's down inside into turn 1, goes Valtteri Bottas. And as they go through the little left-hander towards turn 2, Bottas has the inside line. Is he going to try and make it move? No, it's not. Bottas spins round. He's been spun by Russell. He tries to move and it doesn't work out, and Bottas is left going backwards on the gravel. If he comes back on track, he's down into P10 at least. And that's a shame. Down to P11 now as Hamilton gets past him. That is a massive shame for the Aston Martin. Oh, what has happened to Logan Sargent? He's spinning now as well. Just going to quickly rewind to see what happens to him, where his rear wing's gone. And is he just lack of concentration? He just slid onto the grass. That's a very strange accident for Logan Sargent. Very strange indeed. He now has to go for the rest of the race with no rear wing. He's all off the track again. What happened there? Didn't actually see that. Oh, he actually spins it. Very big off there. He tries to go flat out through a no wing. Oh, big hit into the wall. He's airborne a bit there. In fact, Sergeant's race looking like it's basically over. Into the wall again. And I think it'd be quite stupid if he tries to go flat out through a tanker. Almost loses it through a rudder. I don't think it's officially called tanker, but it's called the tanker layout. So it's oh yeah, he's spun it round. He's big into the wall. And he's lost his rear left tyre. And I think that will be Logan Sargent out of the race with a third retirement. Yeah, that's Logan Sargent out, unfortunately. Anyway, the front runners, Perez getting involved now. Lando Norris in P2. George Russell, the championship leader, still leads. And that's a very important 25 points he'd have. And going on to lap 20 off 75 now. Thrilling race so far, but it's Lando Norris with DRS. Is he going to try to make a move into turn 1? He dives down inside, does he? Yes, he does. And into turn 1. It's going to be Lando Norris who leads the Portuguese Grand Prix. And now Perez is going to try and get involved now. The news that he could be dropped after this race, looking hugely unlikely after this race. Now that's Ocon, Gasly, sorry, down inside into turn 3. Not turn 3, the parabola for interior. 4P3, that's what I meant to say. I'm guessing it is, yeah, it is Gasly down in P4. But I'm able to get past him. I think people are maybe starting to pit. Is Magnussen out? No, Magnussen's not out. So 3 retirements in the first 20 laps, and to be honest, I think the only real action is up front. And because it's not too much action with all the cars being involved, I'm going to go to ads now. So, if you're watching on YouTube, you still get to watch the race. Perez gets past Lando Norris, still going to leave it there. So, see you in a couple of minutes. back in Estoril now. A few laps have passed since I was back, and we have some moves. George Russell down in second. Now it's Ocon Gasly, who leads the Portuguese Grand Prix from the championship leader in Perez in third. Snowder in fourth. Who's fifth? It's Lando Norris, who was leading early on, but unfortunately not anymore. Magnussen down in 17th. Torrid race for him. As Russell takes the lead. Russell tries to get past Gasly into turn 2. This is where Bottas got spun around a few laps ago, and Russell is not going to repeat that. And that's Joe Guan Yu in 6th, Hulkenberg in 7th. So, of course, Hulkenberg won the sprint yesterday. But no, Gasly is trying to fight back on Russell, but it's not going to be good enough. If there's Perez trying to get overtaken by Tsunoda, not quite. Bottas is up to P8 after spinning from P1. Oh, I think it's technically P2, but same thing. With Gasly now down inside into the parabolic interior. Is he going to have the move done? Anyway. So much is going on, it's difficult to commentate on just one thing. There's a move on Norris. From Norris. On Yuki Tsunoda. All this contact a bit. I think Lando Norris almost went off the track there. That's going to cold some of them up. And it's now really just the top 3 that are involved in this battle now. A bit further back, there's Gasly into the pits. Yes, it is. The Gasly pits. I don't think he got damaged. They're 24 laps in, so to be fair, that's probably for new set of tyres. He's on the soft as well, yeah, so that'll be definitely for new tyres. There's Lando Norris down inside on Nico Hulkenberg. And he can get the move done. Yes, he is. But into turn 2 now. Who's going to be in front? Lando Norris round the outside. Brilliant move that from Hulkenberg. And now Joe Guan Yu down inside and Lando Norris. He's 3 wide almost. Joe's very much off the track there. Lando Norris can't really have much room. He's got the half of Hulkenberg on his outside. And now Bottas down inside. He's done brilliant getting up to P6 after spinning earlier on. Still got a bit of the way to go. There's Ocon and Verstappen now. Is that? Yes, it is. In P8 and 9. So all really come into force now as we get back to what we're used to here in the F1 Fantasy Series. And how the front one is going, I think I just missed them unfortunately, but Hulkenberg now in P4, with Tsunoda in P3, and they go through Arella. 25 laps in, 34 minutes in, and with the 2 hour limit, I doubt that'll be reached. They've only reached that once, now he's in France. So, Lando Norris now with DRS, tries to get past the Haas. And now Norris now up in front of Hulkenberg. Russell leads from Perez and Tsunoda. I just saw that at the top. Now Bottas and then P6. He's in front of his teammate now. We saw that this time last lap through Curva VIP. And then I'll go down through turn 5, the flat out right-hander. And now through the parabolic interior. Is Bottas going to try and make a move on Hulkenberg? Yes, he is. Round the outside. Is he going to make it work? No, not quite. He gets pushed a little bit wide. And that could invite Joe Guan Yu to get in front of his teammate. Not too sure. I don't think he has. But anyway, up front now, top 3. Are they fighting too much? Not really at the moment, but now Perez down inside into turn 1 with the DRS helping him get past George Russell there. Is Russell going to try and fight back? No, he's not. They normally see them trying to swoop around the outside through that corner, but not happening there. They go through Curva 3. No, that's the official name. I'd call it turn 3 because I'm going to say it in British, because why not? But they go through Curva VIP now. Turn 4. Down the back straight through turn 5. Is Russell going to try and make a move? No DRS. There's only 1 DRS on this circuit. And that is the front straight. And if I'm being honest, this race is getting a bit dry. Don't really know why, but Strange. Anyway, let's go back to the front runners. Perez in front of Russell. Verstappen's up to P6, he's doing quite well. And I might go to a cheeky ad break because it's getting a bit boring, and let's wait for them to catch up. So see you in a couple minutes. Goodbye. To add, and I think me calling the racing dry, the driver took that personally, because as Perez almost going to the back of Russell, we saw Norris versus Tsunoda into this corner this time last lap, and I don't think I'm going to be calling the racing dry anytime soon. I'm just going to live with it and see if anything happens. As here we go for the last point thing position. When I say that, it's more, I think Sainz is closer to the Aston Martin than Ocon is to him. Or actually it could be Gasly. Don't actually know which Aston Martin Alpine it is. One's pitted, one I don't think has. Verstappen's down in 17th. What on earth's happened to him? Not too sure. I'm assuming he's pitted at least once. His race. Sorry about that. He's now going for turn 1. Perez will have DRS for 29. Will be 30 laps in at the end of this lap. And if I can quickly do the math, no, we're not halfway just yet. 35 plus 37? About 37 laps to be halfway, I think. I don't know, I'm not very good at maths. I mean, I am. But, I mean, if I've just done that, then obviously I am. Perez is now in front of George Russell anyway. Now Tsunoda's trying to get past Russell through VIP. Is he going to get it done? No, not quite. Through, all about through parabolic interior. No. And well, I might as well call the racing dry again, and maybe they might take offence to that and try and actually race each other. But, oh, speaking of racing, is an Alpine. Ocon's trying to get past Sainz, not quite though. Now Gasly's going to try and get past Ocon. Is he going to make it move? No, he's not. Not quite, unfortunately. But what about through Tanker? Down inside. Is that going to work? No, not quite. Or is it actually? I don't actually know if I've got the moves on. Gaddy's had a rock on, so it wouldn't actually watch them. That'd be smart. The two battling Alpines. It is Ocon now. Ocon's into pits now, so is Lance Stroll. I think Hulkenberg's in as well. One of the Ferraris is in. Alfa Romeo as well. Bottas. Russell leads Perez and Tsunoda. Here we go, they're battling again. We love this. Joe, Norris, Perez, Tsunoda and Russell all battling for the lead at the moment. 31 laps in. It's Russell from Tsunoda from Perez at the moment. The AlphaTauri ahead of the sister team. And of course everything is going to be slower, so... Anyway, Bottas now round the outside. Or Joe, sorry, tries to get past Andy Norris through turn 5. Not quite though. And there's Alfa Romeo, no, not quite able to get past him. And Snowden now trying to catch up to George Russell. And now here's Perez trying to get past Snowden through Tanker. No, not quite. You know, I'm thinking the next overtaking opportunity will be into turn 1 when they got DRS and everything. Lando Norris are currently the back on this train. Is anyone going to opt into the pits? They're all on hards, I think. 31 laps, is that enough for hards? I don't know. But George Russell in, they're all in. All the top 5 are into the pits. And this will be a good race out of the pits to see where they'll come out. All the whole top 5 in. And all they're going slowly. That Snowden, I think they're all checking up each other, to be fair. Is that Aston Martin? No, that's both Williams. They're both out, aren't they? Thought that was an AM front wing, but thankfully it's not. Both Astons still in this race. And there's George Russell, Perez coming out. Snowden had a very long stop. Snowden's all the way down in P5, or net P5 at the moment. And two current leads. Snowden down in P12, Russell in P6, and he's got a Gasly in front of him as well. So quite a slow stop for the AlphaTauri, trying to get his second win of the season and of his career. And there's Leclerc who's just pitted, Piastri just pitted, Hamilton just pitted, Alonso's just pitted. Anyway, Gasly, no, it's Ocon, sorry, it's in front of Yuki Tsunoda. Gasly's in P2, he's already pitted, so if Sainz pits pretty soon, which I'm assuming he will, then Gasly will take over the lead of this race. And he's on a blind over strategy as the Frenchman. Does Sainz get into the pits? No, not quite. I don't know if you know pit Sainz is pitted or not, to be fair. But we will see eventually what will happen. 33 laps in, Gasly down the inside into turn 1 with DRS is helping him drastically there. And he's already a whole car in front of Sainz, so no dive bombs into turn 2 from the Spaniard. His second closest race, of course he had his home race in Aragon. Can't tell you off the top of my head how he did, but I know how Gasly did. He retired after going roly-poly on lap 1. Anyway, Gasly from Sainz, and there's no one else anywhere near them. Who's third is Verstappen. And then he got Bottas a little bit further behind him. Then Magnussen and George Russell. There we go. Here's the battle we need. It's the top 2 from earlier on. Russell and Perez trying to get past Magnussen. I'm assuming he's either pitted or Perez or pitted earlier for a different strategy to them. But I don't think he's actually properly racing them, and that eventually he won't be. But it's down inside, tries Russell through the Parabolica. Not quite able to get past him, unfortunately. Now Perez in front of Russell. Perez trying to get past Magnussen through Arella, and he does get it. It's a brilliant move. It is Magnussen trying to think through Tanker. Is Russell going to try anything through Tanker? Down inside, that'll be a good move if it works. Down inside goes Russell through Tanker. Not seen an overtake there just yet. Now Hulkenberg's going to try and get past the teammate through the S's, and Magnussen's dropping positions like flies, and surely he'll be in the pits now. There's Joe and Norris now are both getting past Magnussen. And surely he's either got damage or an issue or something, and Magnussen will be peeling into the pits this lap. No, he's not. Magnussen continues, and even before the DRS, Norris will be side by side and basically in front of him. And they're side by side again in front. That's Joe versus Hulkenberg. And who's going to win that battle? Can't quite tell, unfortunately. There's a lot of dirt kicked up, and it's going to be Joe ahead of Hulkenberg. It's Sainz ahead of Gasly as well. But we want to see Perez v Russell. Joe just behind them, Hulkenberg, Norris. I think this is the main battle behind them. And Gasly now back ahead of Sainz. There's obviously a battle for the lead going on. But this is for the net race lead, I'm pretty sure. Or will be around the net race lead, of course. So, how will these drivers do in the remaining parts of the race? Lando Norris is overtaken by Hulkenberg. With like Kevin Magnussen lost the position. No, he's fighting Tsunoda. And if they go up through Tanker, it will be Magnussen in front of them. And the Tsunoda on the grass a little bit. Yes, he is. Sorry if you had a bit of issues with the hit of sound there. I have some issues with my headset as well, so that's strange. But they're still going. It's Magnussen now for the last point thing position. He tries to get past Tsunoda. Ocon trying to get involved as well, but Tsunoda holds on to P10. Gasly v Sainz, how's that going? They go through down to Parabolica interior. Not really many battles going on. Bottas in 4th. He's the multi-fair after spinning. He gets spun by George Russell, of course. And while the people are pitting, I'm going to go to ads until they start to catch up a bit more to each other. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Goodbye. And we're back from ads. And Russell still behind Sergio Perez. The man who's rumoured to be dropped after this race for Nick de Vries. Nick de Vries, if this is his last race for AlphaTauri, it's ended his DNF after being involved in incident, I think, Sainz when trying to come into the pits. And the other 2 DNFs currently are Albon and Sargent, the 2 Williams. There's Leclerc at the back. Pierre Gasly in sight, still fighting for the lead. You know what, I think we'll just watch this. This has been a little bit of a ding-dong battle. It's a 37 laps in now. If my maths a couple of laps ago is right, this will be halfway through. So, we'll be able to add 1 safety car. So that might not mean that we're halfway through time-wise, I don't know, but... yeah, maybe well, it depends how many safety cars we get. To be fair, is there someone... no, saw the blue light on the down inside goes Sainz on Gasly. I saw the blue light in the pit lane. They do kind of slow double down a bit there. And Verstappen now getting closer and closer to these 2. They're fighting. I thought Verstappen was a bit further back earlier on, to be fair, so doing well to catch up. And now, yeah, Verstappen definitely are saying this battle now as Sainz goes down the inside through Parabolica anterior. There's contact. That can invite Verstappen to try and go down inside. Not quite. They're going to be side by side through Arala. And who's in the lead through there? It's going to be Gasly, and now Verstappen tries to go down the inside. And now Sainz has the lead. That's a brilliant launch. But he's going to have the lead through Tanker. They're going to be side by side. And Gasly almost spins through Tanker. And that's going to have Sainz probably in the lead. No, it's not. Verstappen tries it. Verstappen tries to get past, no he doesn't, and that's going to get Gasly in the lead. No, it's not. Sainz still leads. They go down through the Parabolica right in Senna. And Verstappen now with DRS. Is he going to try and get past Gasly? Gasly's also got DRS, I think, on Sainz. Yes, he has. And is there going to be a move on Sainz there from Verstappen? Verstappen could take the lead of the race here. Yes, he does. Verstappen leads from Sainz and from Gasly. Good move there from the Dutchman. And now even Joe Guan Yu getting, is that Joe? No, it's Bottas. It's Bottas now trying to get past Gasly, but well and truly getting back into the spirit of things. Bottas as he tries to get past Gasly. You've got Perez and Russell behind them. Hamilton and Magnussen fighting further back. Let's see how they're doing. They're on track of 8 at the moment. I'm assuming it's turn 1. Yes, it is now. That's Oscar Piastri trying to get past Kevin Magnussen into turn 3. Did it work? Yes, it does. And Piastri is in front of Hamilton. No, I was going to say Hulkenberg. There we go. And there's Charles Leclerc also trying to get involved in this little battle for P14. Looks like. Anyway, the front runners. Let's see how they're doing. Verstappen leads. That's someone in front of Verstappen. I thought I saw someone in front of Verstappen, but probably not. As he fire down the front straight now. Signs of DRS, but he's way too far back to actually entertain an overtake. Bottas isn't too far back from Gasly though. Is he going to try and make a move? No, he's not. Bottas still very close to Gasly. Gasly scored 1 point in South Africa, of course. Was it South Africa? It might have even been Canada, to be fair. He finished 2 races in Germany and Slovakia, and I think it was Slovakia where he scored that point. So yeah, Gasly under a lot of pressure, potentially to be dropped by Alpine, but he has won a race, to be fair. So, and to be fair, most of his non-point scoring races have been DNFs that haven't been his fault. So I'd say the only one that was his fault potentially is Austria, where he crashed coming into the pits. And then the only reason he was coming into the pits though was because he rear-ended one of the Mercedes after they were going pretty slow through the final chicane. So anyway, Verstappen leads. He hasn't won a race yet this season, neither with his teammate Sergio Perez, so he'll be desperate to change that and get Red Bull their first win of the season. Well, technically Red Bull, Bottas comes into the Sainz comes into the pits. Red Bull technically have won a race, 2 races this season. The Red Bull family have at least. De Vries won at Alton Park and Snowden won at Aragon in the AlphaTauris. I mean, that's not Red Bull racing, is it? It's AlphaTauri, Scuderia AlphaTauri in fact. Anyway, how are they doing at the back? Magnussen behind Leclerc. I'm guessing he might have pitted potentially. Piastri there as well. Russell v Perez still fighting it out, and they've even caught up to the top 2 now. And we could get that back into a proper 20 car, or not 20 cars, 17 cars left in the race, but you know what I mean, multiple car races for the lead, like we've seen basically everywhere so far this season. Unfortunately the pits do kind of put off the racing, but tyres can't last the whole race of course, so yeah, if you're going to miss racing through the summer break, don't worry, because we've got a day break tomorrow, and starting on Tuesday the 8th, we have the first round of the summer racing series at Brazil at the Jacopagua circuit, Autodromo Nelson Piquet to be precise, for the 1988 Brazilian Grand Prix, which the same circuit will be going to for the Brazilian Grand Prix this year, replacing Brasilia of course, with Gasly coming into the pits for the 2nd time this race. That series will be on every day until a day before the Dutch Grand Prix in 3 weeks time, but potentially we will be adding a race the day before the Dutch Grand Prix, or the day before practice for the Dutch Grand Prix. We may be going to Daytona for a race there. All races will be 45 minutes long, or 35% the amount of laps that the actual 1988 race was on for. So don't miss that every day. We will be going to a race in the 1988 season. So that'll be Brazil, Imola, Monaco, Mexico, Canada, Detroit, and then that is the first couple of races. And then it's just so on for the rest of the 1988 calendar. Verstappen being unchallenged really from Bottas as it stands. And of course, most of the circuits we go to in the summer racing series, which are currently on the calendar, actually I think every single one's a little bit different. So I know Imola's of course got the flat out Tamburello, the flat out Villeneuve, the chicane at Cominari, and the final chicane after the current final 2 corners. Mexico's got a little bit of a different turn. First chicane, second chicane. The S's start earlier and more like flowing. The final corner is the banking corner. There's no Sol Stadium section. Canada's got the chicane on the back straight, the casino chicane, the hairpin's a bit further on, and the Quebec chicane, and now the World Champions, the final chicane, is a bit faster as well. Where else? Monaco, not much if not Monaco, I guess the final sector's a lot more narrow. Where else? Spa, of course, the bus stop is changed a bit different. Silverstone, Magnussen Beckett is like strong big corner, left, right, left. It's basically just on the airfield. Perez almost loses it through the final corner. That was a big wobble for the Mexican. He could be dropped after this race, but looking like he could win it, to be fair. It's Bottas down with the first real threat on Verstappen. Bottas tries to go down the inside in turn 1, and he gets it done, does he? Yes, he does, and he's already a whole car ahead. Now Perez is going to try and get past his teammate as well. Is Verstappen struggling on tyres, of course. I reckon he'll be pitting soon, if he didn't pit with these, he pitted a lot earlier. It's Russell now past Perez. Russell tries to get past Verstappen in the Mercedes. The Mercedes ahead of Russell, and Perez tries to get back past Russell. And as I was trying to say, France, just before turn 1 at Paul Ricard, they go towards the menstrual straight. I can't really remember what it's called, sorry, I know I butchered that. Hungaroring, the last sector's a bit different. Monza, the turn 1 chicane's a bit different, and I think so is the second chicane. Not entirely sure. And yeah, Estoril we go to as well, but it's the old Estoril with the tanker corner, of course. This little section they were looking at is a bit different, so it's turn 1, turn 2. Well, Suzuka's a bit different as well. It's into the pit from Valtteri Bottas, I think for the second time in 3 potentially. Lap 44, just under an hour has gone so far. Sort of the 2 hour time there. It's Bottas, not Bottas, Lando Norris is going to try and get past Zhou Guanyu. No, not quite. I reckon this battle for the lead will spice up a bit between the 2 Red Bulls and George Russell. And potentially Zhou Guanyu and Norris getting involved very soon. It's George Russell going to try and get a move on Verstappen, not quite through VIP. Brought about down the back straight and into the parabolica interior. I think he's too far back, to be fair, but anything can happen here. We've seen to move into tanker of all corners. And I don't think people should be overtaken there. It's very quick and very narrow, but they've made it happen somehow. How's Magnussen doing? He's living around the race right at the back. He's been there for most of it, to be fair. Here's Verstappen. George Russell is kind of putting off the pressure of him, and Perez is putting the pressure on Russell to make it Red Bull 1-2, even Zhou Guanyu and Lando Norris. Zhou's won twice this season at Misano and Saudi Arabia. Could he be on to a repeat, but Verstappen comes into the pits, that will put George Russell to the lead, and we're back to the top 4 we had earlier on, minus Yuki Tsunoda, who's still a bit further back after a slow pit stop. You can see him just in the background there. As I wanted to reckon, any of these 5 drivers could win this race, if I'm being real. I don't think anyone else is really aiming for a chance of winning this race, so yeah. An hour gone now in this race. And George Russell leads it, of course, from Perez after Verstappen coming into the pits to make his pit stop. Still only 3 retirements. We had Albon crashing whilst trying to come into the pits. We've had De Vries crashing while trying to come into the pits, and we've had Logan Sargent crashing on the front straight, and then Sainz coming into the pits. We also had him with no rear wing after the crash, and spinning, had a very high speed crash at this corner, the tanker corner. I mean, it's Armco, in my opinion, it probably should be the Tech Pro barrier, or maybe even safe barrier. Would probably be the best type of barrier for that, on that corner, and not the Armco. Of course, I mean, people saying that corner is not great. I mean, there are worse corners out there that are fine. So, Perez dives down the inside into turn 1, but he's not. I've got a whole car in front, which means Russell could try and get back past him, and he does. Russell round the outside through turn 2, out turn 3. Perez dives down the inside and takes back the lead from George Russell. And now he's almost a whole car in front, or is he? Yes, he is. But Russell might try and get down the inside into VIP. Bottas tries to get past Russell and down VIP. And now Norris even trying to get involved in this now. Where's Tsunoda? Where is Tsunoda? That's a good question actually. I don't know where Tsunoda is. He was near the back of this pack. You could just about see him. He is still in P7. Though Gasly and Ulfberg have both got past him. Tsunoda pitted potentially. He has. Sainz is out. Sainz pulled off the side of the track. So what's happened to Sainz? Let's get a quick replay. Because Sainz is out of the race. He, to be fair, wasn't having the best of races. He's just come out of the pits, and you can see. Is it a gearbox? I think the engine just cut out, to be fair. If he goes through the tanker corner, yeah, the engine just cuts out before it. And Sainz can do nothing about that, unfortunately. His race is now over, unfortunately, for him. We saw some more people coming out of the pits. He gets passed by the front runners. And now it's Carlos Sainz's race done. We'll go back to live coverage, and then we will, there we go back to the other cars. This is Magnussen. He was running a lowly P17, that's now gone. After all, Bottas is out. Valtteri Bottas also out. And he was one of the front runners earlier on just before he pitted. What's happened to the Finn? And let's see. Two drivers out in quick succession. The engine just cuts out. Just like Sainz the race before, two Ferrari engines cut out in the space of about 2 laps. And the Finn's race is finished. Sorry I had to say that, I know it's not funny, but anyone else? How's Hamilton doing? P15 currently. As he goes with the S, he just got live coverage now if you watch on board of Hamilton. You're missing out on front running battles, I know. But I just want to make sure we're always live. Verstappen's back up to P5, Verstappen's coming to the pits again. He only just pitted, so that's very confusing. George Russell and Perez have both come into the pits as well, while we were gone. So now it's Lando who leads from Joe Guanyu. To be fair, both of them are pitted as well, and they've both got in front of Perez and Russell. And that's massive for this race. People start to pit again. Gas has some issue with his engine there. Snowden's a bit, and they pit for the second time this race. And it's Lando Norris who leads from Joe Guanyu. Lap 49 of this race. And race leader Lando Norris goes through the tanker corner. And it is heating up, to be fair. That might be why we're seeing some engine seize out. Of course, it's all this in the sprint. We don't want a replay of what happened yesterday. Dan Norris into the pits again. So's Joe Guanyu. Why do they keep pitting? It's got to be through the heat. There's got to be some issue with heat. So it's in the pits again, Russell and Perez. What on earth is going on? This is very weird. It's Hamilton, that's Tsunoda pulling off the side of the track. Yuki Tsunoda was doing brilliantly, and now it's Tsunoda out of this race, another retirement. Surely it's something to do with the engines. Is that Verstappen out? I think Verstappen might be out. Max Verstappen could be potentially out of this race. He stopped in the pits, just outside his pit box. What's happened to Verstappen? Is yeah, he's definitely out. Not quite sure yet. There's Tsunoda. Hamilton's still going. Norris isn't leading now, of course. Who is leading? It's Nico Hulkenberg and the Haas. Yeah, Verstappen's now out. Here's Hamilton. Where's Norris? Here he is. No, Lando's got an issue now. Lando Norris out of this race. Surely it's the heat. Surely the engines are seizing up, and we could see it repeat what happened in the sprint yesterday. As Hamilton passes him. Lando Norris is pulled off the side of the track as his teammate Piastri goes past him. Pierre Gasly, is that? Was that Gasly pulling over? Yes, it was. Now Piastri's out as well. And there's only 11 cars left now. What on earth is happening here? Very strange. Perez is out as well. Sergio Perez, he was up in there fighting for the win. And there's George Russell as well out as well. I think we're under safety car. It's got to be a safety car. No, George Russell can use no. It's just a yellow flag being waved. And the yellow flag is being waved. I'm not sure why. No one pulled over the side of the track. Perez is out as well. That is massive. There's George Russell now in P10. And he might be, I don't know. But only 10 runners left in this race now. If you watch George Russell, let's go on board with him. He goes through VIP. That's a shame for the championship, either George Russell. And also, if anyone else retires in the next couple of laps, they won't even get any points. Because they won't be classified. They have to finish 90% of the race to get any points. So, at the moment, that won't be happening. Joe Guan Yu, where's he? Is his engine gone? Joe's engine's gone. Joe Guan Yu's out of the races now. As well. And George Russell! That's the championship leader, George Russell, whose engine's gone. And he goes into the back of Joe as well during in the process. And that is race over for the championship leader. And I think most of the front runners are actually out of the race. And that is massive. Sorry about that. Lance Stroll now in P3. Rumours of him being dropped at the end of this race, despite winning the Slovakian Grand Prix. It's Hulkenberg who won the sprint, who now leads the feature race under safety car. So safety car out because of those mass retirements. Only how many is it now? 8 cars left in the race. Very strange things happening, and hopefully no one else will be out of the race. Safety car out. It might be because of Russell going into the back of Joe Guan Yu. And yeah, I think that is why we got a safety car. So while we're on the safety car, we're going to go to ads. Wow, just like yesterday, only 8 cars left. But at least we got some racing on like yesterday. So I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye. Peels into the pits. It's an 8-car race for the last 20 laps with Nico Hulkenberg, who will lead Ocon away into the first corner. Who's going to take the lead into turn 1? Is Ocon going to try and make a move on the Haas driver? Yes, he is. Hulkenberg straight away going to be denied his first win in Formula 1. Not quite. Is Hulkenberg going to try and make a move into turn 2? No, he's not. Gasly leads down inside, drives Hulkenberg, but he's not going to make it work. It's the 2 Aston Martins that follow. Here's Charles Leclerc, who gets past one of the Aston Martins. Hulkenberg's down to P3 already. There's Oscar Piastri, Lewis Hamilton at the back, and Magnussen as well, doing quite well. Ocon leads. Hopefully no more engine failures yet for the rest of this race. We've had loads in quick succession, just like the sprint we had yesterday. But that was all 19 cars that was remaining in the race. As Fernando Alonso now in P2, he won in Miami, he won in the Austrian sprint race. Can he win in Estoril for his second race win of the season? Piastri down in P8 now. He won last week in Germany, no, 2 weeks ago, sorry, in Germany. As Ocon leads from Alonso and from the German of Hulkenberg. Stroll P4, rumours of him being dropped after this race. I hope, to be fair, that he doesn't, because he's doing quite well. Won 2 races this season, which is the most of any other driver, I think. I think anyone else has won 2, apart from maybe Zhou Guanyu. But maybe a silly season. Anyways, Alonso rumoured to retire as well. Can he retire with a win? He gets past Ocon and takes the lead of the Portuguese Grand Prix as he prepares his IndyCar career with McLaren potentially, as he tries to get the Triple Crown. Down inside with Hulkenberg into P2. Does he get it? Yes, he does. Good move that from the German. And Ocon goes from P1 to P3 in a couple of laps. Corners, sorry, even. This will be a brilliant race, honestly. I reckon 8-car shootout. Of course, we want more cars, but the closer, less cars, I mean, well, actually, no. I don't know, ignore why I said that, because less cars, there's 1 car, it's obviously not going to be a good race, is it? We saw that yesterday, where we had 9 cars, but no cars, 9 cars, that's good English. And that will move through Arella on Hamilton versus Leclerc, could be. Let's see that into Tanker. Nope, Hamilton stayed behind Leclerc, and Piastri is now in P8 and right at the back. All cars are on the lead lap as well. So Magnussen might be a lap down. No, he's just right at the back. I think he pitted potentially. So he's the only one which isn't in this pack, unfortunately. So it's actually a 7-car battle, sorry. There's Hulkenberg versus Alonso. Hulkenberg retakes the lead that he had in the safety car restart. And Alonso, though, down inside into turn 2, that's a good move. But Hulkenberg trying to get his first win in Formula 1. He takes the lead, but almost spins round, and that's going to let Alonso... I'm so sorry, I've had a cough last 2 weeks. Yeah, I know I've spoken about that in the last couple of races, but Alonso is going to try and get past Hulkenberg. He stopped shouting, I think. Maybe all this commentary thing told on my throat. But anyway, Hulkenberg versus Alonso into turn 1. Stroll getting involved, Ocon getting involved, Leclerc even getting involved. Piastri ahead of Hamilton, by the way. That happened further back. But now Hamilton trying to get in front as Alonso leads. Ocon gets past Hulkenberg, Stroll gets past Hulkenberg before Tanker. Piastri down the inside, Piastri got to pass, do double overtaking Tanker. What a move. But Hulkenberg now down inside through the S's, he almost spins. Leclerc getting involved, Hamilton getting involved. They're 3 wide almost through the parabolic arrest and Senna. But Hulkenberg into P4, ahead of Piastri, ahead of Hamilton, ahead of Charles Leclerc. Oh, they're going to be, there's a 2-car battles there, or 2 sets of battles, I should say. But Hulkenberg now trying to almost get overtaken by Hamilton. Hamilton tries down the inside, Piastri tries down the inside, neither work. Hulkenberg's ahead of Hamilton, Leclerc's ahead of Piastri. Who leads? It's Alonso ahead of Ocon, ahead of Stroll, both AMs on the podium at the moment. In a team that could be looking like having a complete different lineup going into Aston. In the silly season, well and truly underway as soon as the checkered flag flies here in Estoril. And to be fair, I don't think any driver deserves to be dropped. And if I'm being honest, Lando Norris is at the bottom, and he's nowhere near being dropped, so... Well, he was at the bottom in 21st and 20-car field until he got a few points in Germany and Slovakia, so... He got a second in Slovakia. But unfortunately, he was one of the ones whose engine went, so he's 13th in DNF in this race. Anyway, Hulkenberg, is he going to try and make a move? And anyone, if they start to catch back up, and that's Ocon, yeah, Ocon beat Alonso into turn 1. Can't really see it, but yeah, we can now. Ocon beat Alonso into turn 2. Who's going to be in front? It's going to be Ocon, and Alonso unable to do anything about it. But now Stroll trying to get past Alonso, his teammate, the Aston Martins at wars, and potentially their last race as teammates, both of them in Formula 1. Is there tries down inside? Nope, not quite. Alonso. But now Hulkenberg trying to get past Stroll into Parabolica. I go at any time while there's racing on. There's if I for a couple of seconds, I'm having to cough. Sometimes I can't mute my mic in time for the cough to come, but I'm trying my best. 59 laps, well, yeah, 59 laps into the 75 lap race, so still about 15 laps to go. It's not like we're near the end or anything. And I think we've had a massive spike in heat, which was around the same temperature as the sprint. It honestly felt so hot in the commentary box. Just like the sprint race, just like both qualifying sessions we've had today. You know, thankfully it's cooled down a bit. Alonso with DRS goes down inside, knock on does he? He goes to the right, left, he goes to the right, he eventually decides to go down the inside, and he gets the move done. Good move that from Alonso. Now Stroll's going to try and get past Ocon into turn 2, no, not quite, without turn 3 anyone. And he moves, Leclerc's got past Piastri, and now Hamilton's getting involved in this, they're all single file through turn 3. About turn 4, cover VIP, any moves? No, they're still all single file. So Alonso in front of Ocon. And then ahead of Lance Stroll. But Hulkenberg, I thought, could make a move, and he goes a bit wide there, trying to get past Stroll through Parabolica interior. And nothing, unfortunately, for him. And it's an Ocon and an AM sandwich currently. Piastri is in the back of them. P7. Where's Magnussen? Where's K-Mag? Oh, he's miles back. He's currently going through the S's. All the front runners going to turn 1. Any moves into turn 1. Ocon with DRS. Stroll with DRS. No lunges into turn 1. That's unusual. We almost see quite a few. Well, none here at least. Nah, they're still all single file. Maybe the race is dying down a bit. No, it's not, because Ocon goes a little bit wide. That's going to invite Stroll down the inside through turn 2. And it's a good move from Ocon. That's good move from Stroll, sorry, but Ocon fights back. Tries to go around the outside through to the VIP. But Ocon, is he going to stay in front of Stroll? Yes, he does, and Stroll remains in P2. And it all stays the same at the moment. 14 laps to go now, as Stroll died down inside, and now he's finally got the position through Parabolica. Hulkenberg now trying to get past Ocon, is he? No, not quite. It's an Aston Martin 1-2. First time I think ever that's happened. Ocon thought he had damage there, did Ocon, but not quite, thankfully. It's Hamilton's going to dive, make a late lunge through Tanker. But speaking of late lunges, that's a late lunge from Leclerc on Hamilton, and that's not going to end well for Leclerc, who stayed behind Hamilton. And that could invite Piastri to get past him into turn 1 if he has a poor exit through Parabolica Ayrton Senna. Leclerc looks like I just saw him defending there. He goes to the right. Is Piastri going to try and get around the outside? Can't quite tell because we're watching Ocon at the moment. But we can see they're still side by side. And Piastri gets ahead of Leclerc. That's a good move through turn 3. What about for the race lead though? Stroll v Alonso. Stroll, can he win his 3rd race of the season and his 2nd race in a row? Of course, after winning last week in Slovakia. We're meant to be in at first we're meant to be at Jules Tachiner for the Belgian Grand Prix. That got cancelled and moved to Balleston Park for the Balleston Grand Prix. That also got cancelled and we got moved to here. All 3 races were meant to be a sprint race, of course. Last week when we were in Slovakia, we were actually meant to be in Panoiring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. But another Hungarian Grand Prix to be cancelled. Unfortunately. Yeah, Stroll, he's got DRS. Is he trying to make a move on his teammate round the outside through turn 1? Is it going to work? Yes, it is. And now down inside through turn 2, they touch. Stroll is almost round. No, Fernando Alonso's almost round, sorry. Alonso's got the inside line. AM civil war here in Estoril. Ocon's fighting Ocon is fighting the Haas as well of Nico Hulkenberg, and Hulkenberg going to be on the podium now. Stroll leads from Alonso. That's the lead change to turn 1. Lap 63 of 75. Just under an hour and a half in. Brilliant racing here in Estoril. And if you want more racing through the summer, make sure to check out the Summer Racing Series. 16 races, potentially a 17th race in Daytona. All 16 races though of the 1988 F1 season in the 1988 F1 cars as well. In the rerun of the 1988 Championship, can Ayrton Senna recreate what he did in 1988 and win the championship, or can Nelson Piquet this time regain his title with his 2 into the pits? It's Piastri and Hamilton. Is Stroll gets pressured by Alonso? Does he dive down the inside? Yes, he does. Alonso does retake the lead from his teammate, and that might deny him 2 races in a row. I want to just make sure the 2 that pitted don't have damage, and it's just for tyres. Yes, it is just for tyres. Magnussen up to P6 now, but still quite far back. To be fair, he could catch up, but I don't think Magnussen had pace at all this race, to be fair. Even before the safety car, was miles back from anyone. But now Ocon tries to pass. I thought they touched there. Did they touch Hulkenberg and Ocon? They might have done going through turn 5. It's now down inside through the parabolic interior. Goes Ocon to retake that P3 off the Hulkenberg. Yes, he does. And Hulkenberg yet again being denied a podium. Thankfully, he got one in Alden Park, which ended his record podium numbers of races without podiums. Not too sure how many races it was in the end, but it was quite a lot. Of course, started in like 2012 or something, or between 2010. Can't even remember. I really much F1 then. I was like 1 year old. What do you reckon? If I want to improve my commentating, I'll slow down when I'm not talking about racing. Like when I'm talking about what's going on. If I'm like talking now, slow down a bit. Don't like understand me, you know. As Ocon comes into the pits, so does Leclerc. And his last round of pit stops with the 8 cars, which are still in the race. And there's still the 2 AMs who refuse to pit and refuse to go away from each other. And we don't want an AM civil war, with potentially both drivers leaving the team after this race. One retiring, one being dropped. Don't want Stroll having enough of his son's poor performances. I don't think he will. He won 2 races this season. Of course, Aston Martin winning 3 races in the sprint this year in Miami, South Africa, and Slovakia. There we go. I think Piastri and Leclerc are fighting on further back. We're going to watch these 2 though, because this is the win. This is what matters. And it's probably any of these 3 cars, but they've still got a pit, so you never know. I'm assuming one of the AMs and Hulkenberg will probably pit this lap. But has the Haas of Magnussen pitted? I don't think he did. So maybe Hulkenberg might not pit, maybe he will. I don't know, I don't know where that one of Magnussen there. Here it is. Turn P4 Magnussen. If they around the final corner, any of these are going to pit. Stroll comes in the pit, does he? Yes, he does, and so does Hulkenberg. So Alonso in the pit, sorry, so Stroll, no, yeah, it is Stroll that comes into the pits. Couldn't quite tell the camera angles there. It's Alonso leads the race now. He'll probably be pitting at the end of this lap, but so will Kevin Magnussen, and there'll be pit stops done for everyone, I'm assuming. There's Lance Stroll into the pit, so is Hulkenberg. Charles Leclerc, how's he doing? He's got a pretty decent gap on Piastri, so what's happened to Piastri? He's fighting Lewis Hamilton, is he? I think he might be. No, he's not, he's fighting... Who is Piastri fighting? It's Ocon. Yeah, Piastri's fighting Ocon. So, pretty spaced out to be fair. Stroll's come out behind Norris actually. Piastri, sorry. So Stroll's at a shocking pit stop. And they're fighting for the lead. Maybe it was the fighting for the lead which caused it as Alonso goes through Arella and through Tanker. Let's watch him in his pit stop. See how that goes. And Alonso rounds Parabolica, Ayrton Senna. The 2 Parabolicas in this track, Interior and Ayrton Senna. It used to be Interior and Parabolica, but after Senna's death, we got renamed. as Alonso into the pits. I'm assuming Magnussen stays out. So Magnussen will take lead of this race. Maybe he did pit near the safety car restart. I'm not too sure, to be fair. But let's see where this stop will put Alonso. And a very quick stop, in fact. It's one of the quickest pit stops I've seen in a while. But Charles Leclerc, does he claim the lead? Yes, he does. Charles Leclerc leads. So he's had a blinding pit stop. Brilliant stop from the monogas driver. Alonso comes out in P2. Will Hamilton get in front of him? I'm not too sure. They all are pretty spaced out now. So I'm going to go to ads now because I don't really much to commentate on. And then we'll be back, hopefully, we'll be about lap 70, I'm assuming. So we'll be back then. See you in a bit. And welcome back to Estoril, where we've got 5 laps to go. It's Magnussen who leads. He still hasn't pitted, to be fair, so he's doing quite well to hold these tyres on. Alonso beat Leclerc for P2. Alonso just got past Leclerc, I think. Hamilton is leading the Ocon, Piastri and Stroll Hulkenberg train. And that's the 5-car battle there, and we've got past P2 as well. I'm assuming these will all catch up to Alonso and Leclerc soon, and eventually Magnussen, as they go through parabolic interior. Let me just make sure. Like 70, 71, 52, 73, 70, 52, 6 laps. I do apologise, or 5.5 at the moment, but yeah. It's around Arella and Tanker. Be 5 to go after this lap. And 5 hopefully laps of thrilling racing. Have they caught up yet to Alonso and Leclerc? Not quite. Yeah, it's Hulkenberg coming into the pits. Hulkenberg's in. So maybe an issue. Because we saw him pit a few laps ago with everyone else. So Hulkenberg, unfortunately, as Ocon gets past Hamilton, so Ocon now leads this now 4-car train with Piastri trying to get past Hamilton as well. Yeah, he does down inside to turn 3. Piastri tries it, can't quite do it there, but up through VIP, gonna have to go around the outside. Hamilton hits him, but Piastri is now in front, and now Stroll trying to get past as well. He's nowhere near his teammate he was battling with earlier. And now Stroll tries down the inside into turn 5. Is he going to try round the outside through parabolic or interior, or is Hamilton going to try and get past Piastri? He does, but Piastri is still going to stick it in there, and he's going to stay in front, and it stays Piastri, Hamilton, Stroll, and now Ocon's got a pretty decent gap on Hamilton. How's Alonso v Leclerc going? He's got a pretty decent gap on Leclerc. With Ocon in P4, where is he in comparison to Leclerc? Fairly big gap. Is Magnussen in yet? I haven't seen him in, so my assumption is no. Where's Hulkenberg? Currently P8, he's going through Tanker. Is Magnussen in? Magnussen is into the pits. So Alonso retakes the lead. Can he win for the first time since Miami? It's the second race, the race second closest to his home, I'm trying to say. Can Alonso hold on and keep Leclerc behind him? Leclerc hasn't won a race this season. Can keep Leclerc at Ferrari second this season after Sainz won in Austria. Alonso with this win could shoot him into championship contention, and even with Mercedes as well. Both Aston Martin scoring points and only one Mercedes scoring points. This is massive point total for AM, and neither Alfa Romeo is either scoring points. So yeah, that is very good for them. Hulkenberg just keep an eye on him, see how he's doing as he goes through turn 3. And we're doing up here. Piastri now P4 of course after Magnussen pits. Can he get a second podium in 3 races? He's gonna have to catch up to Ocon first. So I wonder when that'll happen. But Alonso leads from Leclerc. Here's Magnussen, how's he doing? Let's go on board with him. He's got the fastest lap at the moment, it's Hulkenberg. And I thought the engine cut out then. Thankfully, no, it has, the engine does cut out. And Hulkenberg's out. And I thought we had a break for it, then he's going to go straight onto the tanker. Nico Hulkenberg is out as well. He's done 95% of the race, so he will score points. But unfortunately for Nico Hulkenberg, his teammate comes out of the pits. Surely he was in the pits for that long. I think he's hit again as Hulkenberg, Magnussen. I don't know, but Alonso leads. With 2 to go after this, but Leclerc has caught up quite quickly. And we can have a good race for the lead in these last 2.5 laps. As they go through Tanker and through the S's, and then Parabolic and Senna. Hulkenberg, that's where he parked up. He's already been rolled away, so good job from the marshals there. And they go through the final corner. 2 to go now as Leclerc catches up to Alonso. Is he going to make it work into turn 1? He's got DRS. Is he going to try and make it move down inside? I think he's too far back, to be fair. But he is gaining on him, but no, not quite, unfortunately. And Magnussen, whereabouts is he at the moment? He is slowing down, and that's both Haas out of the race. Or is he actually? I don't think he's slowing down. No, he is definitely slowing down. That's Hulkenberg out, Magnussen, sorry, out of the race. And both Haas now out of the race. They'll both score points because they've both been classified after completing 90%. But unfortunately, nothing to go for them too. But still decent points haul for Haas. But with 1.5 laps to go now, they're on the penultimate lap as they go through Parabolica Interior. This is the battle you want to be watching. It's Alonso versus Charles Leclerc for the win. And they go through Arella and through Tanker for the penultimate time. Leclerc is closing in, I think. He's got one more DRS zone to get past Alonso and get his first win of the season in Ferrari second, or can Aston Martin get their 4th win of the season as Alonso. No, Alonso's in. He's got a tyre wear. It's got to be tyre wear. Alonso's into the pits. That is so confusing of why he's done that. Surely he can just continue, and that's gifted Leclerc the win. Charles Leclerc's going to win it now, unless he has some sort of issue. Piastri's into the podium now, Stroll's in 4th. And that is such a shame for Aston Martin, who's now 6th and 4th. It could have been 1st and 5th. Any other battles? I mean, not really. Stroll's pretty close to Piastri. He could get 2 podiums in 2 weeks. But, I'm so gutted for Alonso. It's got to be some sort of tyre wear or something. It's not going to be low on fuel, because this isn't NASCAR. You don't have to refuel on this. Or IndyCar, we've seen that a few times. Toronto rings a bell. After one of the races, which threw a few people off course in the fuel. Quite a few people under the pit late on. But Charles Leclerc, he was near the back for most of the race. The safety car came out after loads of engine failures in quick succession, just like the sprint that happened yesterday. Thankfully there was 8 cars which weren't caught out by that engine failure. I mean 8 cars plus 3 that were already out of the race. But he rounds the final corner. Charles Leclerc, for the first time this season, is going to win a race. He's won the Portuguese Grand Prix. Brilliant drive from the Monegasque. It's going to be Ocon in 2nd. And Oscar Piastri, for the 2nd time in 3 races, is going to be on the podium in P3. That's going to boost him into potential championship contention. Stroll 4th, Hamilton 5th, and Alonso somewhere or another will be in 6th place. Where is he? As he comes into the pits again. And Alonso actually retires. He must have had some sort of engine issue. He retired on the last lap. Thankfully, I believe he's crossed the finish line already, so such a shame for Alonso. Anyway, as we finish this race, let's go through your results. Albon crashed while trying to come into the pits. De Vries crashed while trying to come into the pits a lap later. Logan Sargent crashed at Tanker. Sainz, Bottas, Tsunoda, Verstappen, Norris, Gasly, Perez, Russell, Joe, all caught out in that engine failure around that 50 when the heat just spiked up to just too hot for the car to manage. Thankfully there was 8 cars that were able to handle it. Hulkenberg and Magnussen engines went later on, and Alonso on the final laps he had to come into the pits to retire. Thankfully he was able to cross the finish line as Aston Martin's pit box was located quite a bit further on. Anyway, Hamilton, Stroll 5th and 4th, Piastri 3rd, Ocon 2nd, and for the first time this season Charles Leclerc wins the race and he wins the Portuguese Grand Prix. Summer break now. If you're wanting to watch some racing, 16 days, 16 races starting on Tuesday and going all the way until potentially the 17th race if we do decide to go to Daytona for the summer racing series. 1988, all 31 cars racing on the tracks of the 1988 season. So make sure you're watching all of them. We'll be back at Assen on the 27th of August for the Dutch Grand Prix. We'll see you then with a potentially different grid. We've got Alonso potentially retiring, Stroll potentially being dropped, Perez potentially being dropped, De Vries potentially being promoted to Red Bull, and Lawson potentially making the swap from Super Formula to Super Formula to AlphaTauri, and potentially Drogovic making a move to Aston Martin, and former World Champion crowned last week Jake Dennis potentially replacing Lance Stroll. We'll see what happens, but what we know is we've had a thrilling first half of the season. We'll see you in the next half. Goodbye.